Good evening, I'm Sneha Koshi. The big story tonight is from UK. Prime Minister Liz Truss has resigned, taking responsibility for not having been able to deliver on the mandate she was elected for. She said she would step down as UK's Prime Minister 40 days after she took charge. She added that her successor will be elected within next week. So does Indian origin Rishi Sunak, who finished second in the Tory leadership race in September, now have a chance? Let's listen to what now the former UK Prime Minister Liz Truss had to say while resigning.
I came into office at a time of great economic and international instability. Families and businesses were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent, and our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this. I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. We've agreed that there will be a leadership election to be completed within the next week.
Well, I'm being joined by my colleague Radhika Iyer from Ground Zero. Radhika, so the world saw Ms. Truss speak those words, "I am not a quitter," and just days after that, she's here having quit. Break this down for us.
It's hard to comprehend even for Britons here. In fact, just hours after she said that she won't quit and she will lead the Conservative Party to the next general election, Liz Truss quit today after a meeting with the chief of the Conservative Party, Sir Graham, who met her at number 10, recognizing that there is a crisis, recognizing that there is a loss of faith in the leader, and recognizing or preempting the fact that there is going to be a spate of resignations like there was only 45 days ago, or perhaps a couple of months ago before that, when Boris Johnson was at the realm of affairs, when a huge spate of about 55 MPs of Tories, including cabinet members, led by Rishi Sunak, who was the Chancellor then, put down their papers and said that they did not have the faith in Liz Truss. So she had to step down today. She did self-admittedly say that she committed several mistakes in her short stint, including not consulting her own cabinet when it came to tax rebates that she offered at a mini debate, at a mini budget session, which really threw Britain further into a situation of turmoil. The Bank of England was bewildered with the kind of announcements that the Prime Minister made at number 10 without consulting economic experts, and mortgage rates had gone up. People in Britain simply aren't able to cope with the kind of rising costs crisis here in Britain. And the one person who would have an "I told you so" moment would be Rishi Sunak, because he warned exactly against this particular decision and promised that Liz Truss made, that it wouldn't go down well with the Bank of England and with the economy. So many would seem to think that Rishi Sunak is competent, somebody who understands the economy, and somebody who did handle the COVID-19 crisis and the fact that so many of schemes were rolled out to support the common Britainer, and so he should be coming back. So he's very much in the race. In fact, the bookie's favourite at the moment. However, there are more candidates, and there's also a rumour that sources are indicating that Boris Johnson is still not out of the race. Many will ask, what, him, really? But one cannot rule out Boris Johnson's political ambitions for now, so we will know next week.
Right, Radhika, stay with us, because literally Liz Truss's departure is leaving the ruling Conservative Party badly damaged, languishing more than 30 points behind the Labour in the polls after 12 and a half years in power. Her successor will become the party's fifth premier in less than 7 years since the 2016 Brexit referendum ushered in a period of unprecedented chaos in British politics. Among the front runners to take over as UK Prime Minister is Rishi Sunak. Let's listen to what the opposition leader had to say.
Well, what a mess. And this is not just a soap opera at the top of the Tory party. It's doing huge damage to our economy and to the reputation of our country. And the public are paying with higher prices, with higher mortgages. So we can't have a revolving door of chaos. We can't have another experiment at the top of the Tory party. There is an alternative, and that's a stable Labour government. And the public are entitled to have their say, and that's why there should be a general election.
Well, Radhika now joins us again. Radhika, so clearly a lot of polls right now saying that Indian origin Rishi Sunak is among the favourite frontrunners.
Well, yes, bookies' favourite certainly, but whether the Tories will vote for him is the question. Now, there are several layers to this particular election that is going to happen. Rishi Sunak is competent. We know that this former Chancellor has done well as the state exchequer when he was in Boris Johnson's government. However, there are several other aspects to Rishi Sunak which has gone against him. For example, his economic status, his personal wealth and family reigns, that has gone against his favour. A lot of Tories and the membership within the Tory party is white. More than 63% of the Tory membership, which will be eligible to vote next week, are people who are above the age of 60. They are going to cast their vote. They are male. They do want to also choose somebody who will lead the Conservative Party, not just the Prime Minister, but this election is also to lead the Conservative Party into the next general election. So given all of these parameters, will Rishi Sunak make it is the question. He was leading even the last time around when the race began, and however, he fell back 3 steps with Liz Truss taking over, as seen as somebody who is loyal to the Tory membership or the Tory senior leadership. Rishi Sunak, on the other hand, is seen as a rebel candidate, somebody who toppled the Boris Johnson government or who at least led that spate of resignations. So given all of these factors, it will be very interesting to see, and the drama in Britain is far from over. Meanwhile, Keir Starmer, who is the chief of the opposition and the chief of the Labour Party, SNP's chief, Nicola Sturgeon from Scotland, all of them have called for an imperative general election, snap election, much before the scheduled 2024 election. However, that seems far fetched for now because the Conservative Party is, given all the embarrassment and disgracement, still have a majority and will hope that next week they will be able to find that candidate who can lead or at least stay in the job until 2024. And they have to get it right as experts, because it's up next week's election. Then they have predicted, experts have predicted, then it could be the end for the Conservative Party here in Britain.
Right. Thank you, Radhika. You, of course, will keep bringing us all the latest. This is a story that we'll be closely tracking. Now, moving on closer home. Well, some stories seem to repeat itself every now and then. Unfortunately, Bengaluru, battered with rains and subsequent waterlogging, is one such. And IMD has predicted heavy rainfall for the next 3 days. You can see it on your visuals, how through the past few days, Bengaluru has been completely battered, waterlogged all over again. Not the first time, whether it be before the monsoon, during the monsoon, or after the monsoon season. This seems to be a story repeating itself in what was seen as an IT city or the IT capital of India. And not just Bengaluru. Farmers face major crop damage in Maharashtra. Heavy rain damages are forcing farmers literally to the brink all over again.
Farmers in Nanded in Maharashtra, facing crop damages and unable to pay loans for the past few months, have now suffered another blow. Crop damage because of extremely heavy rain over the past few days. Govind Jagade's soybean crop has been destroyed and he's facing a loss of 50,000 rupees.
पूरा सोयाबीन पानी से भर के गया है, शासन की कुछ भी मदद नहीं मिली। शिंदे साहब बोले कि देता हूँ पीक बीमा, दिवाली को दशहरे के पहले देता हूँ, बोले दशहरा गया, दिवाली आ गई अब नजीक, 4 दिन पर दिवाली आ गई, कुछ शासन मदद कर रही नहीं, कुछ नहीं।
In the past 4 months, 69 farmers have committed suicide in Nanded after they were unable to pay debtors. There is bad news in Beed too. Balasaheb Jagade is separating the few good onions from his destroyed yield. The yield was good this year, but the heavy rain 3 days ago ruined his crop. He says he has suffered damages of almost 4 lakh rupees.
4 महीने पहले हमारे खेते में प्याज थे और प्याज कटकर वो हम शेड में डाला तो 2-3 दिन पहले बहुत बारिश हो गई, इतनी बारिश हो गई कि हमारा सब प्याज बह गया।
In another part of Beed, Ramkrishna Jagade's tomato and corn crops on his 1 hectare land are also worthless now. He says he has lost about 1 lakh rupees.
मेरी यहाँ 1 हेक्टेयर खेती है, उसमें टमाटो लगाए थे, घास था, मक्का थी, ज्वार थी, उसमें जो टमाटो है वो उसके टमाटो बह गए, उसके पेड़ नीचे गिर गए और घास भी नहीं रहा, मक्का भी बह गई, उसमें का सब नुकसान हुआ है।
According to the data received by the government, more than 41 lakh farmers have applied under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana due to heavy rain and flood damages this year. Government has given rupees 4,691 crore in the last 4 months.
गेल्या 2-3 दिवसांमध्ये परतीच्या पावसामुळे झालेलं जे शेतकऱ्यांचं नुकसान आहे, पिकांचं नुकसान आहे, त्याचे पंचनामे युद्ध पातळीवर तातडीने करावेत आणि त्या शेतकऱ्यांना तातडीने नुकसान भरपाई द्यावी अशा प्रकारचे निर्देश प्रशासनाला दिलेत। प्रशासनाने त्याची तातडीने अंमलबजावणी करावी जेणेकरून शेतकऱ्यांना मोठा दिलासा मिळेल।
Heavy rainfall just before Diwali has increased the troubles of the farmers in rural Maharashtra. While the government is claiming that relief will be provided soon, the relief will be provided only once the Panchnama of the fields are completed, the records are shared with the government and the government releases the fund. This is a long process and it means that the farmers will have to wait for a longer period to get the relief. With Manoj Satpute in Beed, Kanhaiya Khandelwal in Nanded and camera person Praveen Jirohit in Mumbai, Sohit Mishra, NDTV.
Sadly, there doesn't seem any solution to this as a quick fix as of now, at least. Now, moving on, for thousands of students, Delhi University admission is a dream. And with a new system in place for the merit list, cutoffs, is it making it easier for students or rather tough? Let's see this report.
Nervousness writ large in the faces of aspirants to India's biggest central university. The morning after, the Delhi University declared its first merit list for admissions to nearly 70,000 DU seats. This time, not based on board exam results, but for the first time on the candidate's common university entrance test score. For many students, a flashback to the anxiety of the debut edition of the mega university exam, marred by technical glitches and last-minute cancellations. 18-year-old Sumit, fresh out of school, is unsure about getting a seat in his dream college, Venkateshwara, despite securing a good CUET rank against all odds.
जब CUET का रिज़ल्ट अनाउंस हुआ तो तभी मैंने रजिस्टर करा ड्यू की ऑनलाइन वेबसाइट पे, तब फेज़ 1 अवेलेबल था तो मैंने उसे फिल कर दिया। फिर फेज़ 2 का अपडेट जो कि बाद में आना था उसका मेरे को पता नहीं था चला और वो निकल भी गया और फिर अभी सीट अलॉट नहीं हुई मेरी।
For 19-year-old Isha, after going through multiple last-minute changes in her CUET exam centers, it's a disappointment.
फेज़ 1 में हमने एडमिशन के लिए अप्लाई करने के लिए होता है और फेज़ 2 जो था हमारा उसमें कोर्स प्लस और कॉलेज का हमने प्रेफरेंस शीट भरनी थी। तो मैंने प्रेफरेंस शीट भरी थी कॉलेज और उसके फर्स्ट भरी थी, उसके बाद दोबारा जब विंडो ओपन हुई थी वो दोबारा भी भरी थी मैंने, लेकिन वो अब दिखा रहा है कि उसमें 0 दिखा रही है प्रेफरेंस शीट सिलेक्टेड। अब हम ये पूछना चाहते हैं कि प्रेफरेंस शीट सिलेक्टेड क्यों आया। भले मेरा स्कोर इतना नहीं आया था लेकिन कॉलेज में एडमिशन होता इतना आया था, लेकिन वो प्रेफरेंस शीट 0 दिखा रही है मेरे को।
There are many with similar complaints after the complicated 3-phase admission process.
नया सिस्टम है, मेनली यही है, सबको दिक्कत आ रही है। अगर हमें मतलब पता भी होता पास को देखकर तो हम कर भी पाते कि क्या दिक्कत है, कैसे सॉल्व कर पाते, लेकिन पहली बार हुआ है तो कोई बता भी नहीं सकता कैसे करना है।
But the DU administration says there are no issues at all.
You've not received any technical glitches till now. Yes, people do have an anxiety over the admissions that will come up. Till now, to put on records, the around 80,000 seats have been offered in various programs and colleges. And the data that we have right now, approximately 50,000 students have already accepted the seat that has been allocated. I don't think so that there was any issue with respect to not showing the preferences. All those who had submitted their preferences are showing. the kind of grievances that I was handling downstairs was primarily related to them being done a mistake in doing the preferences.
For millions of students across the country, these red bricked walls of the Delhi University are aspirational. This year, after going through the terrible mess that was the Common University entrance test, students say that the new seat allocation system is giving them sleepless nights. The administration says it's a fair process, but many students here tell us that they are the most unfortunate batch of the Delhi University. In New Delhi with camera person Sushil Rathi, Vedant for NDTV.
Globally, currencies are at a low. Rupee is at an all-time low as it hit 83.29 per dollar in intra-trade. Experts believe Rupee might touch 85 per dollar soon.
The rupee today hit a record low of 83.3 per dollar in intraday trade, before recovering marginally to 82.75 per dollar. The currency has lost over 11% of its value in just a year. The impact? More import prices and higher foreign travel and education costs.
Traders tell us that most of our food imports are paid for in dollars, irrespective of the country of import. When the rupee falls against the dollar, our imports get more expensive. We have to pay more for our fruits, vegetables, edible oil, etc. This higher import price is passed on to consumers like you and me in terms of higher prices or more inflation.
अभी तक जो हमने देखा है कि जो इंक्रीज हुआ है हमारे आइटम्स के ऊपर ड्यू टू डॉलर इंक्रीज अराउंड 15 से 20% के आसपास जो है प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर इसमें इंक्रीज हुआ है. जैसे कस्टम ड्यूटी है या बाकी एक्सपेंडिचर है वो भी उसी रेशियो में बढ़ जाते हैं क्योंकि वो परसेंटेज में होते हैं. तो जितना अगर हमारा बेसिक कॉस्ट बढ़ गया तो उसके हिसाब से वो भी इंक्रीज हो जाता है. तो उससे आगे जाके फिर कंज्यूमर के ऊपर उतना लोड बढ़ जाता है थोड़ा बहुत. तो जितना भी हमारा जब प्राइस सपोज हमने पहले 170 रुपये किलो से वाशिंगटन का बेचते थे, अभी 220 रुपये किलो बेच रहे हैं या 225 रुपये किलो बेच रहे हैं. अराउंड 40% डाउन हुआ है इम्पोर्ट्स.
दिवाली के ऐसे समय में जब उम्मीद की जा रही थी कि इन सब चीज़ों के दाम स्थिर होंगे, अचानक रुपये के डिवैल्यूएशन से ये एक विकट स्थिति का सामना देश के इम्पोर्टर्स को करना पड़ रहा है.
It would cause severe consequences to both commerce and agriculture.
An 11% depreciation of the rupee means students have to pay that much more for foreign education. For Indian students planning to go abroad, a falling rupee means a rethink on their plans. Prabh Noor, a foreign education aspirant, says a couple of his friends had to drop their foreign study plans because of the rising prices.
Initially, we had not planned to take a loan because the Canadian dollar was not that high, but because of the depreciation in the Indian rupee, we are going to take few loans, and I'm also going to apply for a scholarship.
Earlier, we have that much fund, we can pay off our tuition fees, but now we are struggling in loan process.
But the falling rupee has a silver lining too.
On the average, foreign education, the cost has gone by nearly 10%. When a student is going abroad, they are doing part-time jobs. In those part-time jobs, they earn on the average $15 per hour. So their living cost is totally covered up.
Saving the rupee has cost India its forex reserves. The Reserve Bank of India has sold $100 billion of forex reserves to increase dollar supply in the economy. This aimed to bring down the dollar's rate. As a result, our forex reserves have gone down 15% this year, but rupee still fell 11%. The finance minister recently said that the problem is not the rupee, but the dollar.
First of all, I would look at it as not rupee sliding, I will look at it as dollar strengthening.
The finance minister's statement is not technically incorrect. Currencies across countries are falling on a rising dollar as the demand for the considerably safe investment, the dollar, is rising in times of a feared recession. For example, the pound has fallen 20% against the dollar, the euro is down 16%, the yen is down 30%, while currencies such as the Brazilian real have also gained 6%. Rupee has lost 9 rupees of its value in just 10 months. If the trend continues, experts say that our currency could touch 85 to the dollar by the end of this year. In New Delhi with camera person Ashok Mahale, Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.